Harry sat there staring at Snape as the lesson began, picturing horrific things happening to him. If only he knew how to do the Cruciatus curse, he'd have Snape flat on his back like that spider, jerking and twitching. Antidotes, said Snape, looking around at them all, his cold black eyes glittering unpleasantly. You should all have prepared your recipes now. I want you to brew them carefully, and then we will be selecting someone on whom to test one. Snape's eyes met Harry's, and Harry knew what was coming. Snape was going to poison him. Harry imagined picking up his cauldron and sprinting to the front of the class and bringing it down on Snape's greasy head. And then a knock on the dungeon door burst in on Harry's thoughts. It was Colin Creevey. He edged into the room, beaming at Harry, and walked up to Snape's desk at the front of the room. Yes, said Snape curtly. Please, sir, I'm supposed to take Harry Potter upstairs. Snape stared down his hooked nose at Colin, whose smile faded from his eager face. Potter has another hour of potions to complete, said Snape coldly. He will come upstairs when this class is finished. Colin went pink. Sir, Mr. Bagman wants him, he said nervously. All the champions have to go. I think they want him to take photographs. Harry would have given anything he owned to have stopped Colin saying those last few words. He glanced half a glance at Ron, but Ron was staring determinedly at the ceiling. Very well, Snape snapped. Potter, leave your things here. I want you back down here later to test your antidote. Please, sir, he's got to take his things with him, squeaked Colin. All the champion... Very well, said Snape. Potter, take your bag and get out of my sight. Harry swung his bag over his shoulder, got up, and headed for the door. As he walked through the Slytherin desks, Potter stinks flashed at him from every direction. It's amazing, isn't it, Harry? Said Colin, starting to speak the moment Harry had closed the dungeon door behind him. Isn't it, though? You being a champion? Yeah, really amazing, said Harry heavily, as they set off toward the steps into the entrance hall. What do they want photos for? The Daily Prophet, probably. Great, said Harry. Exactly what I need. More publicity. Good luck, said Colin, when they had reached the right room. Harry knocked on the door and entered. He was in a fairly small classroom. Most of the desks had been pushed away to the back of the room, leaving a large space in the middle. 3 of them, however, had been placed end to end, in front of the blackboard and covered with a long length of velvet. 5 chairs had been set behind the velvet-covered desks, and Ludo Bagman was sitting in front of them, talking to a witch Harry had never seen before. She was wearing magenta robes. Victor Crumb was standing moodily in a corner, as usual, and not talking to anybody. Cedric and Fleur were in conversation. Fleur looked a good deal happier than Harry had seen her so far. She kept throwing back her head so that her long silvery hair caught the light. A paunchy man, holding a large black camera that was smoking slightly, was watching Fleur out of the corner of his eye. Bagman suddenly spotted Harry, got up quickly, and bounded forward. Ah, here he is, champion number 4. In you come, Harry, in you come. Nothing to worry about, it's just the wand weighing ceremony. The rest of the judges will be here in a moment. Wand weighing? Harry repeated nervously. We have to check that your wands are fully functional. No problems, you know, as they're your most important tools in the tasks ahead, said Bagman. The expert's upstairs now with Dumbledore, and then there's going to be a little photo shoot. This is Rita Skeeter. She's doing a small piece on the Termin for the Daily Prophet. Maybe not that small, Ludo, said Rita Skeeter, her eyes on Harry. Her hair was set in elaborate and curiously rigid curls that contrasted oddly with her heavy-jawed face. She wore jeweled spectacles. The thick fingers clutching her crocodile skin handbag ended in 2-inch nails, painted in crimson. I wonder if I could have a little word with Harry before we start, she said to Bagman, but still gazing fixedly at Harry. The youngest champion, you know, to add a bit of color. Certainly, cried Bagman. That is, if Harry has no objection. Said Harry. Lovely, said Rita Skeeter, and in a second her scarlet-taloned fingers had Harry's upper arm in a surprisingly strong grip, and she was steering him out of the room again and opening a nearby door. We don't want to be in there with all that noise, she said. Let's see. Ah, yes, this is a cozy place. It was a broom cupboard. Harry stared at her. Come along, dear. That's right, lovely, said Rita Skeeter again, perching herself precariously upon an upturned bucket, pushing Harry down onto a cardboard box and closing the door, throwing them into darkness. Let's see now. She unsnapped her crocodile skin handbag and pulled out a handful of candles, which she lit with a wave of her wand and magicked into midair so that they could see what they were doing. You won't mind, Harry, if I use a quick quotes quill. It leaves me free to talk to you normally. What? Said Harry. Rita Skeeter's smile widened. Harry counted 3 gold teeth. She reached again into her crocodile bag and drew out a long acid green quill, and a roll of parchment, which she stretched out between them on a crate of Mrs. Scour's all-purpose magical mess remover. She put the tip of the green quill into her mouth, sucked it for a moment with her apparent relish. Not her apparent. Sucked it a moment with apparent relish, then placed it upright on the parchment, where it stood, balanced on its point, quivering slightly. Testing. My name is Rita Skeeter, Daily Prophet reporter. Harry looked down quickly at the quill. The moment Rita Skeeter had spoken, the green quill had started to scribble, skidding across the parchment. Attractive blonde Rita Skeeter, 43, whose savage quill has punctured many inflated reputations. Lovely, said Rita Skeeter yet again, and she ripped the top piece of parchment off, crumpled it up, and stuffed it into her handbag. Now she leaned toward Harry and said, So, Harry, what made you decide to enter the Triwizard Tournament? Said Harry. But he was distracted by the quill. Even though he wasn't speaking, it was dashing across the parchment, and in its wake he could make out a fresh sentence. An ugly scar, souvenir of a tragic past, disfigures the otherwise charming face of Harry Potter, whose eyes... Ignore the quill, Harry, said Rita Skeeter firmly. Reluctantly, Harry looked up at her instead. Now, why did you decide to enter the tournament, Harry? And that's like 11 minutes already. I know, we'll see what happens when I cut off the beginning of me trying to find the page.